Hi guys, it's Adam Panisi here. I just wanted to talk about the importance of a build contract when you're doing a property development. I'm the director of a company called Liberty Blue Wealth, which educates people in property development, and I'm also the director of a property development and investment firm called AdPen. I just wanted to talk about the importance of a building contract and getting it right before you start your development. Building is my forte, so that particular piece, which is only one of a number of steps, I like to define development into 7 different steps or 7 different stages. Construction is only one of those 7. So it is my forte. I am a civil engineer by profession, so it's something that comes easy and naturally to me. For those guys that aren't engineers or aren't in the building game, there isn't a reason why you don't or you can't know the basics which allow you to lock in a secure build contract so your costs stay within the budget, first and foremost, but secondly, you get a product that gets delivered what you expect. So if you're building a high-end luxury residential apartment building or tower, or you're building high-end or even low-end townhouses, apartments, houses, whatever that may be, you want to know that you're actually going to get a good quality product rather. Even if you're building a single house, you want to know that the builder's going to complete the end product in what you expect. And I don't mean not completing the defects, I mean giving you the look of the taps that you're after, or a particular brand of tap, or has the builder allowed enough for, say, the kitchen cabinetry that you expect. So builders generally don't make a huge amount of margin. So I mean, most building companies will only make 5% margin overall. That's generally speaking. I'm sure there are other ones that make a lot more than that. So what you've got to keep in mind is a general build contract most of the time will only have a 5, maybe a 10% margin to the builder in that. So where the builder, and that's at best, where the builder makes all of their money or most of their profit is in the variations. So that's fine, and there's nothing against builders, but you just got to keep in mind that if there are variations and they're variations that you've instructed, you've got to be aware that the builder's going to put a margin on that. So what you want to knuckle down right at the start is, what is that margin that the builder's going to put on there? Is it a 10% margin? Is he allowed to charge a 10% margin? And I think that's fair. 10% is not too untoward. Some builders will want more of a margin for variations. So just keep that in mind. Variations, if you do have to have them, and 99.9% of contracts will have variations, whether they're owner instructed, as in you direct the builder to change something, or a variation that arises just because building and construction has a lot of different unknowns and something might arise partway through. So just keep that in mind. You always should allow a contingency. It's generally 5%. So if you've got a build cost and you've signed a watertight contract, you still keep the 5% build margin or contingency on top of that, and that just allows for any overruns. And at the end of the build time, if you haven't spent the 5%, that's great, and that's just something that you just keep in your back pocket. So I hope that's helped, and next time when you're thinking about signing up a build contract, whether that's a single house or 100 apartments, have a think about what you've specified to the builder, and is it to the expectation of yourself, and make sure you go through absolutely everything right at the start. If you get it right at the get-go and both yours and the builder's expectations align from the start, then the build process will run so much smoother. Probably the only other thing just to point out about that, and the particularities or the particulars in the build contract that you should specify, I'll just give you a list of items that I can just think of offhand. So, you know, kitchen bench tops, cabinetry, are they soft close? Do they have handles on the cabinets? How thick are the bench tops? Are there waterfall ends? So do the ends come down to the floor? Shelving in cupboards. Do the cupboards do they have shelving? Do they have hanging robes? Is there a top shelf? Is there 2 hanging robes? Do they have one drawer? Do they have multiple drawers in the walk-in robes? Your linen cupboards, how many shelves are there? What are the materials of the robes? What else can I think of? Your appliances. Just make sure you specify your appliances. You don't have to pick everything up front. You can make allowances for it. So just make sure that when you are making allowances, that those allowances cover the items. So if you're going to make an allowance of, say, $2,000 for an oven package, make sure that your expectation of an oven and cooktop and range hood, is a $2,000 line item, or is that amount going to be enough to get whatever brand that you need to put in there? If you're expecting to get like a high-end Miele, $2,000 isn't going to cut it. If you're going to get a Westinghouse, well, you'll probably have some change left over from $2,000. So yeah, there's the appliances. What are the appliances? As in, is there a wine fridge? Do you want a wine fridge? If it's a higher end, maybe you do. Do you want installation of dryers? In a lot of apartments, you need to put the dryer in there. The dryer needs to be like one that doesn't have condensation, so that it doesn't make the inside of the cupboard or inside of the unit go moldy. Mechanical ventilation, is that included? The builder should know that, and technically they should include it. I had a residential builder, not include mechanical ventilation in their base price, which I thought was ridiculous. What else can builders charge a variation, or what else do you need to pick? Tiles. So you can always make an allowance for a tile, which gives you the flexibility. Same with any item. If you make an allowance, it gives you the flexibility of being able to pick it or choose it from multiple suppliers. And generally, each builder has their own selection of suppliers where they hold accounts with. And generally, they're going to get a better deal from those suppliers anyway. So if you make an allowance, that way it's fully transparent. And if you pick an item that's more expensive or less expensive, then you either pay the difference on that item or on that tile that's more expensive or less expensive, or you get the money back and you get to use it as a credit to somewhere else, or you get it back and you don't have to pay for it at the end. So it's a bonus. I like to over-allow, so I like to go in a little bit on the high side with all the allowances, because that way you can shuffle some things around as you're going. So tile supply, flooring, light fittings and fixtures, what are they? Mailboxes, fencing, landscaping. What else? What else can you think of that when you walk in, you see that, like you see in the building that you expect to be there, and most of it just comes, you expect that you're going to have some form of a downlight. Say, for example, is it one that's this big, or is it one that's double the size? Do you have a feature light? Just those sorts of things that can trip you up. Cabinetry, so bathroom, is a bathroom cabinetry, is it already made up, or like as in, do you buy it straight off the shelf and it's already there existing, or do you have it custom built, and is the basin separate from the vanity? Probably the other one is number of power points. Power points cost money to put in, as do a lot of electrical items. So most builders have a standard amount of power points that they allow per room. So just make sure, is it 1 power point per room? Is it 2? Because if you start adding lots of power points, it does start to add up. That's probably most of what I can think of offhand. I mean, all the other things that are specified should be in your architectural drawings. So architectural drawings, and make sure, or what they should specify is like the elevations, and make sure they do have like the elevation, and by elevations I mean like front view of the house, side view, your bathroom elevation, so it shows the cabinetry, it shows where the tiles are going. Is the wall fully tiled to the ceiling? Is it only up to 2100, the top of the shower? Just little particulars like that, all those little details that a lot of people just take for granted, that you're halfway through the build and then you realise that, hey, I actually wanted that wall tiled, or hey, I wanted that wall in a feature tile. I didn't want it in the same tile as the rest of it. So all of that info can be detailed in the architectural drawings. You've just got to either ask them if they don't already do it. So it can be architectural drawings or draftsman drawings. Paint color schedule. If you want different walls colored in different paints, that can be specified. If you want plants in certain locations or types of fence. If you like a fence, take a photo of it, put that in the contract. I suppose tapware is the same. If you like a style of tap, put that in there, but then make sure it's got an allowance for it, because there's 101 different types of taps and you want to make sure you get a good quality one, among other things. So I hope that's helped with building contracts. There are a lot of items to cover. Builders should run you through all of these items if you don't know them, but builders miss them, and a lot of builders, especially the bigger builders, they like the variations, because that's where all their margin comes from. So they actually will set up the build contract so you do have variations. So anyway, I hope that's helped. Have a great day. Talk to you guys later.